بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله والسلام عليه أما بعد فإن خير الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدى هدى رسول الله صلوات الله والسلام عليه وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. After discontinuing our class for a number of weeks due to traveling, we resumed the explanation of the small book, the Risalah of Imam Ahmad ibn Muhammad ibn Hanbal rahimahullah ta'ala. We've dealt with a number of important issues that serve as the basis of what's going to come after. And so far, one of the most important points that have been mentioned in the book and explained in the class, if not the single most important point, is the importance of comprehending, understanding, and practicing this religion the way the companions of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam did, and not just giving lip service to that. If a person has the correct aqidah, if the person is correct in his ibadah, if the person is correct in his akhlaq and his saluk, he never has to say anything, I'm Sunni, I'm Salafi, I'm from Ahl al-Hadith, Ahl al-Sunnah. It's not even necessary. On the other hand, if a person screams out at the top of his voice, I'm Sunni, I'm Salafi, I'm from Ahl al-Hadith, but his akhlaq is not indicative of that. His saluk is not indicative of that. The ibadah that he's putting forth is not indicative of that. Even some of the things that he has in his i'tiqad. He says, I'm Sunni, but he makes the taqdees of the ashkhas. He believes that his shaykh is ma'soom. When it comes to talking about a-rijal and in the minhaj, he believes my shaykh is ma'soom. He can scream all he wants to scream. The emphasis is upon the reality, the application, and the practice. Ala kullin, that's the most important issue that Imam Ahmad has brought forth so far in this book. How everybody here, the Yemeni, the Somali, the revert, the woman, the old, the young, the white, the black, the rich, the poor, the good health one, the bad health one, everyone from this ummah has to come Yawm al-Qiyamah and stand before Allah Azza wa Jal, and his religion is similar to the religion that Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali were upon, radiyallahu anhum ajma'in. He comes to two important points today that we're going to deal with, inshallah, and we're going through this pretty quickly, although books have been written on both of these points. But we're just going to deal with them very quickly because Imam Ahmad himself just mentioned the mujmal of the mu'taqid of Ahl al-Sunnah and al-Hadith. He said, rahimahullah ta'ala, ومن السنة اللازمة التي من ترك منها خصلة لم يقبلها ويؤمن بها لم يكن من أهلها. From the things about the Sunnah, the aqidah of al-Islam, that are necessary for everybody to believe in and not permissible to abandon. And the one who abandons these things, he's going to mention a number of things, the one who abandons any of these things and he doesn't believe in it, then it won't be accepted from him Yawm al-Qiyamah. Meaning with Allah Azza wa Jal won't accept from him his Islam. As a matter of fact, Ikhwan, is a very important point. The next 9 things that Imam Ahmad brings, the scholars of the past used to make dua, that the person who doesn't believe in these things, may Allah not allow him to be from the people who would benefit from these issues. May Allah not allow him to be from the people who will benefit from these issues. And you'll see why they need mention of that. The very first one that he mentioned was al-imanu bil-qadr, khayrihi wa sharrihi, wa-tasdiqu bil-ahadithi fihi, wal-imanu biha. La yuqal, lima, wala kayf, innama huwa tasdiq, wal-imanu biha. ومن لم يعرف تفسير الحديث ويبلغه عقله فقد كفي ذلك وأحكم له فعليه الإيمان به والتسليم له مثل حديث الصادق المصدوق. The very first thing that he began to mention concerning these points is it is necessary for the believer, the Muslim, to believe in the qadr, the good of it and the bad of it. And he has to believe in all of the ahadith that have been mentioned about the qadr. He shouldn't say, when these issues come to him in these hadith about the qadr, he shouldn't say, why? How? He shouldn't ask those questions. How? Why? Why is it that some people have died on kufr and others die in Islam, and the people who died on kufr, they weren't given a chance? And why was it that those children in America a few weeks ago, they were shot and they were killed in such a horrific way? How? Why? He shouldn't ask those questions. He went on, rahimahullah ta'ala, and he mentioned that the person who doesn't know the tafsir and the explanation of these hadith, these ayat, these ahadith that come in this regard, they don't reach his brain and he can't comprehend it, then it is enough for him that the people who went before him, they just believed it and they let it go. He doesn't have to come now today and say, I'm special, I have to know all of the details. But Imam Ahmad, he mentioned, فَقَدْ كُفِيَ ذَلِكَ وَأُحْكِمَ لَهُ. It is enough for you. You don't have to get into those details because you're not better than Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali radiallahu anhu. And as Abdullah bin Mas'ud said, that companion of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, ittabi'u wa la tabtadi'u, laqad kufitum. Follow and don't invent. Don't come up, you people, with new stuff, because what they did is enough for you. No one here in this masjid who has his intellect, his right mind, and he has a qalb salim. No one here. You may not like me, I may not like you. You may not like that guy, he may not like you. No one here in his right mind is going to say, the way Abu Bakr understood al-Islam is not enough for me. No one's going to say that in his right mind. Abu Bakr was from the awliya of Allah Azza wa Jal, and we don't find him once. Imam, we don't find him. Uthman, Ali, we don't find a single companion saying about these ayat and hadith about al-Qadr. Why? How? How? The Prophet told the people sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in those ahadith, for an example, and there are many, إن الله تعالى خلق آدم وذريته ثم ألقى عليهم من نوره فمن أصابه من نوره يومئذ فقد اهتدى ومن أخطأه من ذلك النور فقد ضل. Allah created Adam, and then he created the children of Adam, and then Allah threw out over them his light, his nur. Some of the creation, the nur hit them and it went over them. Before they were able to talk, before they were created, they're not even here yet, some of them. Allah created Adam, created his children, and he threw out a nur. That nur went over some of his children, and that nur missed other ones. Whoever the nur hit is going to be guided to Islam. He's going to go to Jannah. Whoever the nur didn't hit, he wasn't even created yet. He wasn't even on the earth yet. He didn't do any good, no bad yet. But the nur missed him. He's going to be from the people of the hellfire. Abu Bakr, Umar, Ali, Uthman, Ukasha, Bilal, Aisha radiallahu anhum, they didn't come and say, Ya Rasulullah, how, why, it's not fair. They didn't do that. So don't you, me, Zayd, don't anybody come and now he wants to think, I'm living now 1434, 2012, 2013. I must know, I have to find this out. Today, Ikhwani, we have some Muslims who are gifted intellectually and academically. Gifted. Muslim boy, he goes to Cambridge University, prestigious institution of higher learning. Intelligent, extremely intelligent. More intelligent than the vast majority of people who are in this masjid. And yet, despite his intelligence, he comes and he says, Adam was created from a monkey. From a monkey. And then when you try to explain to him, this is kufr, this is against the Quran, this is against the Sunnah. Allah created Adam with his own two hands, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you're telling us he created from a monkey? Allah ta'ala created Adam and he said, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي Adam. We blessed them, we make barakah on them. Created them from his own two hands. You're saying a monkey? And then he starts to speak a language the average person can't understand about protons and proteins and creatine. Al-Hidayah, Ikhwani, is not in technology and technological advancements. Islam is not against that, but that is not what Hidayah is in. He says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, about this ummah, لا تقوم الساعة حتى تضطرب اليات نساء دوس حول ذي الخلصة أو خلصة الخلصة أو الخلصة. Yawm al-Qiyamah won't be established until a group of people, some women from the tribe of Dos. The tribe of Dos is present right now. The Arabs in the Arabian Peninsula. Yawm al-Qiyamah won't be established until there are women from that tribe who will worship idols at this particular place. Their hips are going to be moving at those idols. Some of the ulama said the movement of their hips, the shaking of their hips, it means that they're going to dance and make ibadah like they used to do at the Kaaba. She would take her clothes off. Sometimes she would cover the front and leave the back open. Sometimes she would cover the back and leave the front open. And they would dance at the Kaaba. And that was ibadah. Ibadah to them. Not ibadah in Islam. Not ibadah to Allah, to His Messenger. قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ لَا أَعْبُدُ مَا تَعْبُدُونَ. They're making ibadah, but they're not making the ibadah that the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam brought. So the shahid of that kalam, point is, as time goes forward, Hidayah is not in studying in Cambridge, Oxford, Yale. It's not Hidayah. People from this ummah are going to worship other than Allah Ta'ala. لا تقوم الساعة حتى تلحق قبائل من أمتي بالمشركين وحتى تعبد الأوثان. Yawm al-Qiyamah won't be established until some tribes of my ummah are going to catch up with the mushrikeen, and they're going to make shirk, and people are going to worship idols. They're going to go to the mausoleum, they're going to go to the graveyard, they're going to go to dead people, and they're going to ask them other than Allah, and they're going to slaughter for other than Allah, and that's going to be considered ibadah with the people. And that's what has happened to the ummah. When our mother Aisha heard that hadith, she thought it was strange. She said, Ya Rasulullah, but Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, هو الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره المشركون. Allah is the one who sent his Rasul with the deen of al-haq, so that he can proclaim this Islam over every religion. And she was saying, we're taking over. Muslims, how are Muslims going to become people who fall into shirk? He said, yes, Aisha, that's true. And it's going to be like that in the beginning, during my time, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and during the time of my companions, and during the time of the people who come after them, the people who come after them. But then they're going to come a group of people who are not going to understand the basics of this religion. They're going to do magic, white magic, black magic. They're going to make the ta'weed, tamima, tama'im, and other than that. And some of them are going to outright worship idols. So it's not about technology. قَدْ جَاءَكُم مِّنَ اللَّهِ قَدْ جَاءَكُم مِّنَ اللَّهِ نُورٌ مُبِينٌ قَدْ جَاءَكُم مِّنَ اللَّهِ قَدْ جَاءَكُم نُورٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَكِتَابٌ مُبِينٌ يَهْدِي بِهِ اللَّهُ مَنِ اتَّبَعَ رِضْوَانَهُ سُبُلَ السَّلَامِ. So the people in this ummah take this ayah that's revealed for Ahlul Kitab. There's come to you a nur and a book that makes things clear. Look at the ayah. The ayah is for Ahlul Kitab. There has come to you nurun min Allah, a nur and a kitab. It guides the people who follow the ridwan of Allah. It guides them to the subul salam, to the right way. Not technology, the nur and the kitab. When we look at the tafsir of the verse of the ayah, Ibn Abbas, Abdullah bin Mas'ud, those scholars from the Tabi'een, they said that the nur min Allah, in this ayah, the nur is talking about the sunnah. The sunnah. The sunnah. the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the one who learns it, the one who memorizes them, the one who calls to it, the one who practices it, he tries to defend it. Nuru min Allah, the hadith, the sunnah, his kalam. Like the Nabi says sallallahu alaihi wasallam, nadar Allahu mriyan sami'a hadithi fawa'ahu wa hafidhahu wa ballaghahu kama sami'a. Is nur, he made dua that Allah Ta'ala make the tanweer on the face of the person who memorizes hadith. He relays it, learns it. It's the nur. And he said that the book in this ayah is the Quran. Some of the scholars said that the nur is, there's come to you the nur, the religion of Islam, the deen of Islam. And the book, it is the Quran. So some scholars said that the nur is the hadith and the sunnah. Another said that the nur is al-Islam. Like the Nabi told the people, لَقَدْ إِنِّي تَرَكْتُكُمْ عَلَى مَحَجَّةِ الْبَيْضَاءِ. It's clear, it's nur. But the Muslims come and they say, this ayah means the nur of Allah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is created from the nur of Allah. And therefore, because he's from the nur of Allah, he's part of Allah. You can make dua to him, he didn't die, and all of those issues. So the point here, ikhwani, of all of that kalam is, al-hidayah is in the sunnah and in the Quran, and practicing it the way that those companions were upon it, and those righteous people who learned from them and learned from those who learned from them, radiyallahu anhum ajma'in. Concerning the issue, ikhwani, of al-qadr. Al-qadr, as Abdullah ibn Abbas told the people when they asked him, what is the qadr? He told them, al-qadr huwa qudratullah. The qadr is the power and the might and the ability of Allah. It's beyond our ability to fathom and to totally and completely understand. They asked Imam Ahmad, what is the qadr? He said, Abdullah ibn Abbas used to tell the people that the qadr is the sir of Allah. It's the secret. Allah didn't make it anyone's responsibility to know all of the details of it. When those hadith come to us, like some of us have wives who are pregnant right now. Some of us have children who, our daughters have children, they're pregnant right now. We know people were pregnant. Allah Ta'ala's Prophet told the people sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after 120 days of that pregnancy, an angel is sent to that baby, and the spirit of life is blown into that baby, and that baby will be written down how long it's going to live, whether it's going to be happy or sad, whether it's going to be guided or not. All of that is going to be written down before the baby even comes out on the face of the earth. No one can come and say, why? How? What's the wisdom? He just has to believe it, because Allah Ta'ala didn't make it our responsibility not to believe it. Concerning the qadr, the people in Islam are on three positions concerning it. Two extremes and one in the middle. Obviously, as-Sunnah are in the middle. The people of the hadith are in the middle. And then you have the two extremes. One extreme, a group of people, they call themselves the Qadariyah. Al-Qadariyah. The Nabi told us about them, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He used that word while he was living. He says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, al-Qadariyatu majusu hadhihi al-ummah. He said that the people of these people, they're the majus of this ummah. The majus, they were some Persian people who believed in the God of light and the God of darkness. They believed in two gods. There's a God of good and there's a God of bad. Persians brought that. And when the Persians came into Islam, they spread this filth. Prior to that, Arabs never heard of that. In Jahiliyyah, they never heard of that. Never believed in things like that. They believed in idols, but they believed in Allah. They believed that those idols would get them close to Allah. They never believed a God of blackness, a God of light, a God of good, they never believed in that. The Persians believed that. So the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that these people, they are the majus of this ummah, because it's as if they have two gods they believe in. The qadr, they believe Allah doesn't know what's going to happen until it happens. They use their intellect, their minhaj when it comes to Aqidah and understanding the affairs of Aqidah is to use the brain. So there are people who almost symbolic of the Majus, they have two gods. Allah, He knows some things, and Allah, He doesn't know other things. He also said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, about them in this issue, لا يدخل الجنة مكذب القدر. he will not enter into the Jannah, the one who doesn't believe in the Qadr. Is kufrun billah, kufr. And this innovation is started during the time of the companions radiyallahu anhum after Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Abdullah ibn Umar was performing at Hajj. Some people came to him from Iraq, from Kufa. They met him from the Tabi'een. They said, we have some people where we come from who are busy with getting knowledge. They're students of knowledge. They're not just ignorant people from the Ammat al-Nas. They're the people who are talking about the affairs of the deen. They don't believe in the Qadr. Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu told them people, the ones who were asking them, when you go back to Kufa, you let those people know. You tell them, Inni bari'u minhum wa hum bura'a'u minni. Tell them I'm free from them and they're free from me. And let them know that Allah won't accept anything from them from their deeds. The sarf or the adl. He won't accept wajib efforts or sunnah efforts until they believe in the Qadr. Their deeds will be rendered null and void. So that's one extreme, the Qadariyah. They believe Allah doesn't know what's going to happen until it happens. And that's against the Quran, it's against the Sunnah. The second extreme are the people who call the Jabariyah. The Jabariyah. They're the people who believe Allah knows everything that's going to happen, and Allah forces people to do whatever happened, so therefore no one is responsible for what happens. It would be oppressive for Allah to hold people accountable for the mistakes that they made. If a person commits zina, Allah wrote it upon him. He couldn't get away from it. If a person stole something, Allah wrote it upon him. He couldn't get away from it. And this was from the filth of the deviant man who went outside of Islam by the ittifaq of the ulama of Islam. Jahm ibn Safwan used to call the people to this issue. So those are two extremes. The two extremes. The middle course are the people of Islam, and the people of Islam, the Sunnah. They have the opinion that Allah knows everything that's going to happen before it happens. But the people have a choice in what's going to happen. He wrote everything upon them, but they have a choice to sit down right here, right now. And Allah wrote whether he's going to sit here for the duration of this class or not, has been written. And while he's sitting there, he's thinking, should I sit? Should I stay? Should I sit? Should I stay? If he decides to get up and go, that was written and he had that choice to do it. Nobody was forcing him to just sit down like that. So we're in the middle. And getting into this issue and trying to figure it out is dangerous. It's not for you to do it. It's not for me to do it. It's enough for a person just to say, I hear and I obey, and we believe it. So concerning this issue, there are a number of ayat and a number of hadith, like the statement of Allah Ta'ala, وَمَا أَصَابَ مِن مُصِيبَةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَلَا فِي أَنفُسِكُمْ إِلَّا فِي كِتَابٍ مِّن قَبْلِ أَن نَبْرَأُهَا نَذَلِكَ عَلَى اللَّهِ يَسِيرٌ. There is no musibah that happens in the earth, and there's no musibah that happens in you, you person, and you individually, except that it's already in the book written before it even came out. It was written that it was going to happen. And that's easy for Allah. Easy for Allah. So everything is already written what's going to happen. That's the Kitab of Allah, too many ayat. Inna khalaqna kulla shay'in biqadrin. We created everything by the qadr. Everything is by the qadr, the decree. As for the sunnah of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, فَحَدِّثْ وَلَا حَرَجْ. Imam Ahmad gave examples, and he said, the person, whether he knows the tafsir of these hadith, he has to believe in these hadith, and that's because there are many, many hadith come that are like that. Musa had an argument with Adam. Musa never met Adam. They lived centuries apart. Sahih Bukhari Muslim, the Nabi said, Musa and Adam had an argument. The one who wants to use his intellect, he said, how, why, when, where? In the argument, Musa said to Adam, Adam, you're the father of mankind. Allah created you with his own two hands. Allah put you in the Jannah, and because of you, we have been expelled out of the Jannah. Right now, we have all these mashakil in our lives. Divorce, children are astray, have to pay bills, this one has arthritis, that one is sick, That one over there, his mother died. He didn't see his mother for so many years. His child is in the jail, prison, all these mashakil. When we were in Jannah, we wouldn't have these problems. Musa, you messed it up for us. Adam, you messed it up for us. Adam said to Musa, do you blame me for something that was written on me 50,000 years before Allah created the heavens and the earth? So the Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Musa was defeated in the argument. Adam defeated him in the argument. Now it's really important that we understand, and that's one of the proofs of Al-Qadr. Adam said, Musa, are you blaming me for something that was written on me 50,000 years before I was created? What happened had to happen. Someone may misunderstand the hadith. The hadith is a dalil to show the many proofs of Al-Qadr. It's not a dalil that someone could come and say, look how Musa used the Qadr as an ihtijaj and a dalil. Someone does something, you say to him, why did you do that? He says, the Qadr. Okay, I know the Qadr, but you're responsible. You're going to go to jail. You're responsible. You're going to be dealt with because of what you did. So the scholars of the Sunnah, they said, and this is important, that the ihtijaj with the Qadr is in the masa'ib. In the masa'ib. If something happens that's bad, something happens, we say, that's the Qadr, that's the Qadr. It happened because of the Qadr. And we just use the Qadr as a dalil. But it's not an ihtijaj in the ma'aib. The bad things, the sins that people do. You can't come and use the Qadr to say, I did this, I did that. And you use that as a dalil to be excused and exonerated from the mistakes that you made. Very quickly, Ikhwani, because we have to get to the next point. The Qadr has four arkan. Four important things that are connected to it, that come to us from the Kitab, come to us from the Sunnah. And this is very quick because, as I mentioned, Imam Ahmad himself didn't get into the details. But the scholars of the past, they got into the details of this issue. Imam al-Bukhari wrote a book about this issue. Imam al-Firyabi wrote a book about this issue. The scholars wrote, An-Nasa'i wrote a book about the Qadr. Those scholars and those ulama of the hadith, they used to write books where they gathered all of these issues. And for those of us who know from the contemporary scholars, as Shaykh al-Imam Muqbil ibn Hadi al-Wadi'i, rahimahullah ta'ala, one of the prolific scholars of the Sunnah from Yemen. He was a man of the Sunnah and tried to spread the Sunnah in his country. He died. He wrote a book, The Sahih of the Qadr. I would advise you people to get that book. And I would advise you people to take pride in being from Yemen, and that man is from Yemen, like other scholars before him. And don't be of the people who take him as an enemy, and his dawah as an enemy. That's not to say he's ma'soom. Wallahi, he's not ma'soom. But he was a man who gave a lot of khayr to the Sha'b al-Yemeni by trying to spread the Sunnah at a time when he went there. It was very difficult. So we ask Allah Ta'ala to put that in his mizan of hasanat yawm al-qiyamah. The scholars wrote books about the Qadr, but we have to go through. Four arkan of al-Qadr. Number one, al-Kitaba. And that is that Allah Ta'ala, He wrote everything down. وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ أَحْصَيْنَاهُ فِي إِمَامٍ مُبِينٍ. Everything has been gathered in an imam, in a book that makes things clear. And the book that is the Lawh al-Mahfuz is written and it's up there with Allah. Everything is written in that book. How much money you're going to make, when you're going to die, what time you're going to die, how many times you said Allahu Akbar, every sin, everything is written in that book. The Nabi, he told the people sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, inna Allah kataba maqadir al-khalaiq qabla an yakhluqa as-samawati wal-arda qabla 50 alf sana wa kana arshu al-ma. Allah wrote everything that was going to happen 50,000 years before He created the heavens and the earth. The heaven and the earth wasn't even here yet. Allah Ta'ala, one of the first creation is the pen, the qalam. Allah told that pen, write. The pen said, what should I write? Allah told him, write everything that's going to happen until Yawm al-Qiyamah. So the pen started writing everything. Before it even happened. Again, as we sit here, masakin, fuqara, people who are in need, don't waste your time trying to figure out the asrar of these issues, the tafasil of these issues. So that's from the proof that writing has something to do with the qadr. Number two, al-ilmu, the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the knowledge of Allah. There were two companions who came to the Nabi. They were the two sons of Ibn Abi Mulaika. They became Muslims. They said, Ya Rasulullah, our mother, she had a baby in Jahiliyyah, a baby girl, and she buried it alive. But our mother, she was a woman who was karima. She used to make hajj, she used to take care of the hujjaj, she used to have sabr, she was good to her relatives, she was a good lady, like many of the people had good akhlaq in the Jahiliyyah, and as a result of that, Allah Azza wa Jal, from the reasons He chose the Arabs, is from the akhlaq that they had. So what's going to happen to our mother? The Nabi told them, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that your mother and the baby that she buried will be in the hellfire. Your mother and the baby, the little girl who was an infant, both of them going to be in the hellfire. They said, what did the baby do? We know our mother, she made shirk, she didn't believe in Allah, she killed the baby, the maw'uda, but what did the baby do? The Nabi told them, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Allahu a'lamu bima kanu amilin. Allah already knows what everybody was going to do. If He allowed that girl to grow up, that girl would have been a kafir, mushrika, zalima, fasiqa. So both of them in the hellfire. So the knowledge of Allah Ta'ala proceeded. Again, it's not for you and for me to try to dig into these issues and to try to understand the details of them. Allah didn't make that our responsibility. Number three, Ikhwani, the Mashi'ah of Allah. The Mashi'ah. Anybody want to help me with that translation?
Willing.
MashaAllah, it is as Allah will, as Allah. Now, the Mashi'ah is the process where Allah wants something to do, wants something to happen. The irada. What would you say that is?
Willing.
It is because of the will of Allah. The qadr only can happen by the will of Allah. Allah Ta'ala mentioned all of those ayats in the Quran. وَلَوْ شِئْنَا لَآتَيْنَا كُلَّ نَفْسٍ هُدَاهَا وَلَكِنْ حَقَّ الْقَوْلُ مِنِّي لَأَمْلِأَنَّ جَهَنَّمَ مِنَ الْجِنِّ وَالْإِنسِ أَجْمَعِينَ. If Allah willed, if He wanted to, He would have gave everybody the hidayah. But He didn't will that. He said His promise is going to be true, that He's going to fill the Jahannam up with men and jinn. So the people who were destined for the hellfire, they're in the hellfire because Allah sha'a. And the kuffar of Quraysh, they used to use this as a dalil even. They used to say things like, Lo sha'Allah, ma ashrakna wa la aba'una, wa ma haramna min shay. If it was from the will of Allah, we would have never made shirk. And our fathers would have never made shirk. And we would have never made anything haram. They used to say that to the Nabi. Allah made us do this. No, the Mashi'ah of Allah Azza wa Jal is one of the pillars of the issue of the qadr. So all of those ayats, وَلَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. And lastly, Ikhwani, in regards to this particular issue, from the arkan of the qadr, is that we have to believe that Allah Ta'ala has created everything. And Imam al-Bukhari, he has a book called Kitab Khalq Af'al al-Ibad. The book that shows Allah has created the actions of the people. What you do, everything you say, is because Allah created that thing. Allah created you, and He created what you do. So we're going to stop there in this issue of the qadr, and just suffice it to say, it's not our responsibility to try to understand these issues. This is part of what it is to be a believer. When Jibril came to the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Jibril said to him, tell me about al-Iman. He told him al-Iman is to believe in Allah and His malaika and His books, to believe in and tu'mina billahi wa malaikatihi wa kutubihi wa rasulihi wa yawm al-akhir, wa tu'mina bil qadr khayrihi wa sharrihi. you are not a believer if you don't believe in the details of these issues. And what was mentioned is al-iman in the qadr. Al-iman in the qadr. Al-Imam Ahmad went on to mention the second point, Ikhwani, and we'll finish with this point today, inshallah. And that is that the people of the Sunnah, they believe in the qadr, وَمِثْلُ أَحَدِيثَ الرُّؤْيَا كُلِّهَا. وإن نبت عن الأسماء واستوحش منها المستمع وإنما عليه الإيمان بها وأن لا يرد منها حرفا واحدا وغيرها من الأحاديث المأثورات عن الثقات وأن لا يخاصم أحدا ولا يناظر ولا يتعلم الجدال فإن الكلام في القدر والرؤيا والقرآن وغيرها من السنن مكروهة ومنهي عنه. He said the second thing, Ikhwani, is to believe in the ru'ya, seeing Allah Yawm al-Qiyamah, seeing Allah Yawm al-Qiyamah, and believing in the hadith that come in that regard, not pushing them away. Even if a person, when he hears those hadith, he may have a problem with it, he has to believe in those issues 110%, and he can't reject them. The ru'ya of Allah Ta'ala Yawm al-Qiyamah, being able to see Allah Yawm al-Qiyamah. As for the dunya, it is impossible for anybody to see Allah in the dunya. So, when the Dajjal comes, if there's a human being or a creation from Allah and he's claiming that he is Allah, we have to know he's a kadhab, because Allah can't be seen in the dunya. If the Muslim knows his aqeedah, that's a basic fundamental of aqeedah. He knows you're kadhab. You're lying. This is not something that is possible. And the Nabi didn't like the companions arguing about these issues, like the issue of al-Qadr. They were sitting there and some of them were discussing in the beginning of Islam, when these issues came down, the new Muslims from the desert, they were arguing about the Qadr, trying to figure it out. The Nabi, he came and he told them, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, أَبِي مِثْلِ هَذَا أُمِرْتُمْ أَبِي مِثْلِ هَذَا أُرْسِلْتُ إنما هلك من كان قبلكم حين تنازعوا في مثل هذا. Did Allah order you people to figure this thing out? Did Allah send me with this? He said the people who came before you, the Jews and the Christians, they were destroyed when they started arguing about these issues and delving into these issues. He didn't allow them to go into these issues. They just said we hear and we obey. So seeing Allah is something that is not possible in the dunya. And it's a rahmah from Allah that it's not possible. The Nabi told the people sallallahu alayhi wa sallam about Allah, hijabuhu nur, lo kashafahu, la ahraqat subahatu wajhihi, man taha ilayhi basruhu min khalqihi. If Allah removed the hijab, that's between him and the people in this dunya. If you remove that hijab, then the countenance of the face of Allah, the light, the beauty of the face of Allah, Allah has a face that befits His majesty. If He removed that hijab between Himself and this creation, then for as far as His eyes can see, everything will be destroyed from the creation. He wouldn't be able to deal with it. He didn't create the people with the ability to deal with it. Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, وَمَا كَانَ لِبَشَرٍ أَن يُكَلِّمَهُ اللَّهُ إِلَّا وَحْيًا أَوْ مِنْ أَوْ وَرَاءِ حِجَابٍ أو يرسل رسولا فيوحي إليه بإذنه ما يشاء. It's not possible for Allah to talk to a human being except that Allah reveals to the human being, no matter who he is. Allah will reveal to the human being, or Allah will speak to him from behind a hijab, or Allah will send to him a Rasul, a Nabi, an angel, and Allah will reveal to him what He wants to reveal. So that ayah goes to show there's a hijab. There's only one person who talked to Allah directly from all of Bani Adam, from without a hijab. Anybody know who that individual is? La. وَكَلَّمَ اللَّهُ مُوسَى تَكْلِيمًا. Musa spoke to Allah, Allah spoke to Musa, and He spoke to him directly, but there was a hijab. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he spoke to Allah directly, but there was a hijab. based on the hadith of the Nabi that I'm going to tell you about sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There's a companion, his name is Jabir ibn Abdullah. He's one of the 6 people who narrated the majority of the hadith. He was a young man. His sister, if you remember, he got married. Rasulullah said, did you marry a virgin girl or a thayyib, a lady who'd been married before? He said, I married a woman who was married already. He said, why did you do that? Why didn't you marry the virgin girl so you can play with her and she could play with you? He said, Ya Rasulullah, my father left behind 6 daughters, sisters. I didn't want to marry a girl like her. I needed to marry a woman who could take care of my sisters. The man is responsible for his sister. He has to have ghira for his sister. Who's she going to marry? She got marital problems. That's Jabir ibn Abdullah. His father is Abdullah Haram. Some of the books and the tarajim of the companions said that his name was Haram. But it's Jabir ibn Abdullah ibn Haram. The Prophet saw Jabir and Jabir was sad after the battle of Badr. Rasulullah said, Ya Jabir, what's the matter? Jabir said, Ya Rasulullah, my father died. He got killed in the battle of Badr, Shahada. And now I have to be responsible for all of these girls and all of his debts and all of these issues. The Nabi said, hey, Jabir, you want to know what happened? He said, yes. He said, Allah spoke to your father, Abdullah. He never spoke to anyone except behind a hijab, except your father. He spoke to your father without a hijab. He said, what happened, Ya Rasulullah? He said, Allah said to your father, do you wish anything? Wish whatever you want from me, slave. Wish whatever you want. Jabir ibn Abdullah's father said, oh Allah, I want to go back to the dunya. Send me back to the dunya so I can fight fi sabilillah and I can get killed again so I can get these rewards that you prepare for the mujahideen who make jihad haqqan fi sabilillah. So that hadith shows the only human being. He wasn't a Nabi, he wasn't a Rasul. No one could come and use qiyas and say, but he's lesser than the Rasul. Rasulullah said he's the only human being that Allah Azza wa Jal didn't speak to from behind a hijab. He spoke to him directly. Why? Because of al-jihad fi sabilillah. So we're not going to come and try to change our religion, and because non-Muslims don't like the issue of jihad, because of what some Muslims do, we're going to just leave jihad and say no jihad, and we're going to apologize. There's jihad in al-Islam. But the jihad of al-Islam, it has rules and regulations, and it has a proper way. Even sometimes in the masjid, Akhwani, when you mention something like this, it could be a problem. The administration, they're nervous. I'm not calling anybody to do anything. But what I'm saying is, don't apologize for your religion. That hadith shows the virtues of ash-shahada fi sabilillah. But which shahada? The shahada that is mashru'a. It's legislated by Allah Azza wa Jalla. Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, La tudrikul absaru wa huwa yudrikul absar. The eyes cannot see Allah, but Allah sees all eyes. He sees all things. In the dunya, the eyes can't see Allah. From the strongest human beings that ever lived is the Rasul and the Nabi and the Kalim of Allah, Musa. Musa was strong. Punched the angel of death in the eye, knocked his eye out. Musa saw the man fighting with the guy from the Egyptians. He punched the Egyptian guy, killed him. Musa was taking a ghusl in the water, and the rock ran off with his clothes. He came out of the water and he chased the rock, caught the rock, hit the rock with his stick, and put a dent in the rock. Musa was strong. Allah Ta'ala mentioned the story of Musa in the Quran, in Surah Al-A'raf, when he went to meet Allah Azza wa Jal. He left Bani Israel down there. He went on the Mount of Tur to meet Allah Ta'ala. فلما جاء موسى بميقاتنا وكلمه ربه قال ربي أرني أنظر إليك قال لن تراني ولكن انظر إلى الجبل فإن استقر مكانه فسوف تراني فلما تجلى ربه للجبل جعله دكا وخر موسى صائقا فلما أفاق قال سبحانك تبت إليك وأنا أول المؤمنين. When Musa came to meet Allah and Allah spoke to Musa, Musa said, oh my Lord, let me look at you. I want to see you. The tree was burning. I want to see you. Allah Ta'ala told Musa, you won't be able to see me. But look over at the mountain. If the mountain can handle what is about to happen, you'll be able to see me. Allah Ta'ala manifested a part of himself. In a Tirmidhi Sahih book, in his Jami', the Nabi says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allah manifested this much of himself, and he pointed to this part of the finger, which shows the permissibility. When you say that Allah hears and sees, you can point, Allah hears and Allah sees. And your pointing doesn't mean he hears like you hear, he sees like we hear and we see. But Nabi, he did that, and he did this. Allah manifested that much of himself, and when Musa looked, Musa fell unconscious. And then when he woke up, he said, Subhanallah, glory unto you. I make tawbah for asking that question. I'm the first of those who believe from Bani Israel who were with me, and so forth and so on. So the point here, Ikhwani, all of those ayat and issues show you can't see Allah in the dunya. So if someone comes and says, no, you can't see Allah, the Salaf, those ulama used to make dua, may Allah not make you of the people who see Allah. But in the hereafter, the people will have the ability to see Allah. In the hereafter, not only will they have the ability to see Allah, but it will be the biggest ni'mah that Allah bestowed upon the people. What was collected by Imam At-Tirmidhi and Nasa'i, other than them, the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said that دَخَلَ أَهْلُ الْجَنَّةِ الْجَنَّةَ وَأَهْلُ النَّارِ النَّارَ نَادَى مُنَادٍ يَا أَهْلَ الْجَنَّةِ إِنَّ لَكُمْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ مَوْعِدًا وَيُرِيدُ أَنْ يُنْجِزَكُمُوهُ. The people go into Jannah, and when the people go into hellfire, an angel will come and call out and say, O people of the Jannah, Allah has an appointment, a promise for you, and he wants to give you that promise. The people of the Jannah will say, but didn't Allah, alam yuthaqqil lana mawazinana? Didn't Allah make our scales heavy from the qadr? Allah did it, not us. Alam nubayyid wujuhana? Didn't Allah give us illuminated faces and we're in the Jannah? Didn't Allah put us in Jannah and save us from the hellfire? What else is there? And then Allah Ta'ala will remove the hijab that exists between him and his creation, the believers. And then they'll be able to look at Allah Ta'ala, and it's going to be the greatest ni'mah yawm al-qiyamah. May Allah allow us to see his face yawm al-qiyamah without any adab and any hisab before that. May allow us to look at his face yawm al-qiyamah. Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, وَلَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ لهم فيها لهم ما يشاءون ولدي. What's the beginning of the ayah? لهم ما يشاءون فيها ولدينا مزيد. Now? لهم ما يشاءون فيها ولدينا مزيد. Concerning the believers, Allah mentioned in Yawm al-Qiyamah, لهم فيها ما يشاءون لهم ما يشاءون فيها ولدينا مزيد. They will get everything that they want in the Jannah, and they will have an increase, and the increase is the ability that the people will have to see Allah Yawm al-Qiyamah according to the people of the Sunnah. All of those ayat and all of those issues are dalils and proofs that we believe that Yawm al-Qiyamah Allah Ta'ala can be seen. As for in the dunya, Allah can't be seen, so therefore anyone who is claiming to be the Lord of Bani Adam, we know automatically that he's not a truthful one. إنكم تعلموا ما منكم أحد وهو يرى ربه إلا بعد موته. Gotta know, the Nabi said, none of you, no one from amongst you will be able to see your Lord except that he dies. Last issue, Ikhwani, is that there was ikhtilaf between the companions of the Prophet ﷺ concerning this issue about Rasulullah ﷺ seeing Allah. It's one of the few issues that there's ikhtilaf with the companions in Aqidah. There's a lot of ikhtilaf between the companions in different issues about wudu, different issues about as-salat, as-zakat, al-hajj. A lot of ikhtilaf between the companions. Some ikhtilaf about the niqab. In the masail al-fiqhiyya al-ilmiyya, there's ikhtilaf between the companions. But in the Aqidah of al-Islam, they only had ikhtilaf for a few issues. You can count them on 2 hands, on 10 fingers. Not more than that. The ikhtilaf in fiqh, there's a lot of ikhtilaf. In aqidah, it's not like the ummah today. We have ikhtilaf in every bab of aqidah today. Those companions had ikhtilaf in aqidah in a few issues, and each issue where there was ikhtilaf, you can see why some said this and why some said that. Will the dead person be punished because of the wailing and the crying of the dead person? The wailing of those who live. Some of the companions say yes, some said no. The Khawarij, are they kuffar? Are they not kuffar? Some of the companions say yes, some of the companions said no. Just a few issues, not very many, 5, 6 issues. One of those, what's the first thing that was created? The Arsh or the Qalam? Some said this, some said that. Just a few. They were muttafiqun, muwafiqun, and the Masail al-Aqadiyah. One of those issues, did the Nabi see Allah or did he not see Allah? And the incident of al-Mi'raj, al-Isra wal-Mi'raj, being taken from Mecca to Bayt al-Maqdis, and then he was taken up to the 7 heavens, and then Jibril told him he has to go the rest of the way after the Sidratul Muntaha. And he came back. When he came back, he told the people, Ra'aytu Rabbi al-Bariha. I saw my Lord last night. I saw him. They said, Ya Rasulullah, what does he look like? He said, Nurun anna arahu. It was light. How can I see him? I didn't see Allah, but he said he saw Allah. So some of the people who heard that hadith, they went and they told Aisha, Abdullah ibn Abbas is telling the people that Rasulullah saw Allah. She said, Abdullah ibn Abbas, may Allah guide him. She said, my hair stands up that he would say such a thing. The eyes can't see Allah. Allah sees all eyes. And she started reading those ayat showing you can't see Allah in the dunya. So she was against that opinion. But Ibn Abbas, he was for that opinion. And in reality, Ikhwani, there was no real problem. There was a person who was sitting with Aisha. His name is Alqama. Alqama was from the Tabi'een, and he was a student of Aisha. He said, we're waiting at al-Mu'mineen, take it easy. Take it easy. Didn't Allah Ta'ala say in the Quran, وَلَقَدْ رَآهُ بِالْأُفْقِ الْمُبِينِ? Verily he saw him in the clear horizon. And didn't Allah Azza wa Jal say in the Quran about the Nabi and to the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَلَقَدْ رَآهُ نَزْلَةٍ أُخْرَى? He saw him at another time as well. So why are you saying that the Nabi didn't see Allah, and these 2 ayats clearly are saying that he saw Allah? That was the student saying to the teacher. And the teacher didn't say, you have bad adab, you know good, you this. He brought dalil that could be understood. Aisha said, no, you take it easy. I asked Rasulullah about these 2 ayats. Hadith is Sahih Muslim. Sahih Muslim. I asked Rasulullah about these 2 ayats. And Rasulullah said these 2 ayats are referring to Jibril. That Jibril came to the Nabi only 2 times in his whole life, 23 years. He came 2 times, only twice, in the image that he was really created. 600 wings that filled up the heavens and the earth. And these 2 ayahs are referring to that. He came to Jibril. Jibril came to him 2 times. All of the other times he would come in a dream. All of the other times he would come looking like Dihya ibn Khalifa al-Kalbi. But these 2 times, this ayah is saying, Rasulullah saw Jibril at the Ufuq Mubin. Rasulullah saw Jibril Nazlatan Ukhra when he came down, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. So this is one of the issues that those companions had ikhtilaf. And the way we harmonize the 2 things is that the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in al-Isra wal-Mi'raj, he didn't see Allah with his eyes and his head sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, but he saw Allah with the ability of the heart to see, because the heart has the ability to see. فَإِنَّهَا لَا تَعْمَى الْأَبْصَارُ وَلَكِنْ تَعْمَى الْقُلُوبُ الَّتِي فِي الصُّدُورِ. It's not the eyes that are blind, but it is the hearts that can't see. So the Nabi saw Allah Azza wa Jal with his heart, a reality that Allah knows about. As for seeing Allah with the eyes, the eye seeing, that's only going to happen Yawm al-Qiyamah. So we're going to stop here on these 2 points, Ikhwani, concerning the Qadr, believe in it, find the ahadith enough, concerning the issue of seeing Allah Yawm al-Qiyamah, then we make dua to Allah day in and day out to cause us to be of the people who are not having the hijab mahjubun from the ru'yatullah ta'ala Yawm al-Qiyamah. If you brothers have any questions about today's dars, what time is the Maghrib adhan?
9 minutes.
20 minutes. So for the next 5 minutes, if you have any questions about today's dars, the dars today. As for what's going on in Syria, no questions about that. As for what's going on, these other questions just today. You have any questions about today?
Yes.
Today's dars? Naam, Akhuna Abu Abdurrahman, Abu Abdullah.
I missed the fourth rukn arkan al-qadr. The first one is kitaba, and then ilm, mashi'atullah, the fourth one.
Anybody? We mentioned it. Anybody? What's the fourth one?
Allah created everything.
Huh?
Allah created everything.
Al-Khalq. Everything is by the Khalq.
Yes, Jazakallah khair for the narration and the lecture. The belief is that every child that dies as a child will go to Jannah. But part of our lecture appears to suggest otherwise, that the inference you draw from a particular incident. How do we reconcile it?
Concerning any child that dies in its infancy is going to go into Jannah, this is a mas'ala that there's ikhtilaf between the scholars of al-Islam concerning it. And all of them have their points of view, and they have varying positions. Some said that they are going to go to Jannah, and that's because those texts that clearly indicate وَمَا كُنَّا مُعَذِّبِينَ حَتَّى نَبْعَثَ رَسُولًا. We won't punish anyone until the messenger comes, until the hujjah, the dalil is established. لا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى. The child won't be made to carry the burden of the father, the mother, the kufr. What did he do? كل مولود يولد على الفطرة. He's born with a natural disposition. So some scholars said he's in Jannah because of those dalils. Other scholars said no, they're in the hellfire because of that hadith of Ibn Abi Mulaika, those 2 sons, that child is going to be in the hellfire because of what their parents do. Allah knows what they would have done. They would have grown up, father and mother would have corrupted the environment, and because of that, they're going to be in the hellfire. They get the hukum of what their parents were upon. So if a non-Muslim were to die today, a child, non-Muslim, we're not going to bring him to the masjid and give him janazah and say he died on the fitrah. We're going to say no. You're going to follow the ahkam of his parents. They're going to do their own janazah. It's not our responsibility as wajib, lazim, farud, kifaya on us to pray on him because he's a Muslim, he's our brother. No, he gets the hukum of the mother and the father. So some scholars took that position. I think the best position, wallahu alam, is the position that was given the intisar by the great scholar of the Sunnah, Imam Ibn Battah. He wrote the book Al-Ibanat al-Kubra was-Sughra, a book similar to this, but it's more deeper, it's bigger, more detailed. He wrote a book about the children who die in infancy. What's going to happen to them? And he showed how Yawm al-Qiyamah, there will be some people who are going to be tested. And from them, the third position, the old man, old woman who became senile, the person who was majnoon, the child who died in the cradle, the one who was dumb. He was dumb, he didn't have his intellect. Not majnoon, but dumb, he can't comprehend. Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah Azza wa Jal will have a fire kindled for them, and He will tell them, jump in the fire. Whoever listens will find the fire cool. Whoever said, I'm not jumping in the fire, he's going to go to the hellfire. And Allah will say to him, I told you to jump in the fire, you didn't do it. if I sent you my Usool, you would have disobeyed him. So the third position is that the child is going to be tested. The fourth position and last position, and it's the position I take, is at-tawaqquf. Allahu a'lam. Allahu a'lam. What's going to happen to those people? I don't know. I can't say that. I'm not going to say this. I'm not going to say that. Because they all have dalil. Non-Muslim may come and say, but in your religion, you people claim, as you said in the Quran, وَنَزَّلْنَا عَلَيْكَ الْكِتَابِ تِبْيَانًا لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ وَمَا فَرَّطْنَا فِي الْكِتَابِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. Everything should be explained. This should be. There's some issues we're not going to know the reality of them until Yawm al-Qiyamah. I'm content with that. There's some issues we won't know the reality of them until Yawm al-Qiyamah. So Allahu Alam. It has multiple proofs. So you take the position you're most comfortable with. Akhi, dhikrullah. Last question is this one and this brother, and that's it.
I was going to say, you know the hadith that you mentioned about Musa alayhi salam and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and you say that so many people use that for delil, is the Qadariya and the other ones. I don't understand how that isn't delil for it.
How it is not a delil for it?
Yeah. And you know what you read this? You know the way they say that we sin, how don't understand why that one isn't delil for them.
Well, Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, لَمْ نَجْعَلْ لَهُ عَيْنَيْنِ وَلِسَانًا وَشَفَتَيْنِ وَهَدَيْنَاهُ النَّجْدَيْنِ. Didn't we make the human being, give him 2 eyes so he can see? We gave him the ability to hear, the ability to articulate. We gave him his intellect, and we guided him to the najdain, the right and the wrong. He has a choice. So you can't use the qadr to say, I did that because it was written on me, and use it as an excuse to not be criticized. As for the issues that happen from the musibas and the dunya and yourself, whatever, then you can use that as a dalil, because we don't always know why is Somali in this situation. And in Somalia are ulama, tulab al-ilm, awliya of Allah. Why is Syria like that? And in Syria there are people kurama, in Syria this, that, and yet in America, look what's happening in America. It's different. Why? That musibah is the qadr of Allah. It's the qadr of Allah. Allah. Last question.
Yeah, so but al-qadr, so in general we believe in al-qadr, khayru wa shar. Now if I switch from my engine, my car, and just not respect 30 miles per hour and 80 miles per hour, and after I die, so obviously you will return me back, kill, mash it into pieces, and you will see my father. They say, qada or qadar khair wa shar, qadam Allah khayr, and we say, he killed himself. Hellfire.
If a person, akhi, if a person is muhmil, he's muqassir in terms of making the ittikhad bil asbab, then yes, he killed himself. He didn't put his seatbelt on, he wasn't paying attention, he was tired in sleep all night, now he's trying to drive from here to London, and he doesn't take the break to sleep, he killed himself. He has something to do with it. So those ayat, وَلَا تُلْقُوا بِأَيْدِيكُمْ مِنَ التَّهْلُكَةِ is applicable here. وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ بِكُمْ رَحِيمًا. It is applicable here. As for the person who took the ittikhad bil asbab, he did everything that he was supposed to do. Put the seatbelt on it, and the drunk driver came and he hit him. He can't be responsible for that. That thing just happened to him. He didn't have anything to do with that. It's not from his ihmal that thing happened. It's just something that he couldn't get away from. And that's also khwani from, as we mentioned, the hadith of Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, when the Nabi told that young man and teaching him the importance of the qadr, to know what was meant to hit you, it wasn't going to miss you. And what was meant to miss you is not going to hit you.
What some really says, what should you say to that? Do you pray on that?
Oh yeah, we pray on everybody. Even if the person committed suicide and he took the gun and shot his brains out, he spilled his brains all over the wall. When we found that out, we see his relatives, we're going to tell them, yes, we're going to make dua for him, because he's in Islam. La. He may not go to the hellfire. He's under the mashi'a of Allah. In sha'a, ghafara lahu wa in sha'a, adhabu. And nobody comes and says, he's from the hellfire, and that issue is going to come with the Khawarij. At-Takfir is from the Usool of Islam. It's a lazim. Every religion has takfir. Christians have takfir, Jews have takfir. If the Christian guy, the church over here, the guy who says he's a Christian, he goes to the preacher and says, hey, I believe you people put this Bible together. I don't believe there's a person called Jesus. I believe that's a figment of your imagination. And I don't believe in, and he says all of this. You think the Christian, the preacher's going to say, okay, you're still a Christian, you were born a Christian, you're still a Christian. You're going to say, you're a kafir Christian, you're kafir, you're not a Christian. So in our religion we have that. A person curses Allah, curses the Nabi, make ta'an in the Quran, ta'an in the Sahaba, and he has inhiraf and ilhad, and we're going to say, no matter what you do, you just say La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah, and you're a mu'min with the iman of Jibril and Mikael, the awliya of Allah. No, there are things that you can do and say that put you outside of Islam. But this issue of takfir, it's the haqq of Allah. The haqq of Allah. It's not your haqq, not my haqq. So as-Sunnah, they only make takfir of people when there's clear dalil. That's not ta'wil, clear dalil. Clear dalil. The Khawarij, they make takfir of anyone who doesn't agree with them. You're kafir. You don't agree with me, you're kafir. The Mu'tazila, they make takfir, they say we don't make takfir of people unless they make takfir of us. You make takfir of us, you're kafir.
Salafi jihad.
Salafi is the haqq. But there are some people who ascribe to Salafi who are a big problem. But anyway, people of the Sunnah, they leave this with the people of knowledge. If a takfir was left to the shabab, it's going to be fitna. A tabdir is from the Usool of our religion. If making tabdir of people was left to the shabab, it's going to be fitna. So there has to be tabdir, there has to be takfir, but it has its dawabit and its qawaid. Wallahu a'lam wa a'lam. Hada wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum.